Alright, what's up everybody? As promised, I did say I would do a video going over the fixes I did in regard to ARK Survival Evolved on GeForce Now. First thing I want to note, and I kind of just want to get this out the way in regards to the new ARK patch. Didn't really see any patch notes on this. I'm thinking the only thing they did was add this butt ugly ad on here. That seems bigger than any previous ad I've seen on this game. I could be wrong. I don't recall seeing big ass block ads before. I know the last one they had on here for Genesis wasn't all that big. So I'm of two minds of this, really. I know that they want to advertise their new shiny and all that good fun stuff, but at the same time, uh, I would say half, if not over half, of ASC players are not planning on going over to ASA. And with them abandoning this game, I thought it was kind of in poor taste to do this, to be entirely honest. It's like adding salt into the wound. So I kind of took this basically as them spitting in the face of all the ARK Survival Evolved players who didn't plan on going over to the new shiny and stuff. So yeah, with that having been said, there's not too much really else to say about that. It doesn't look like this patch has done anything. Some people have had problems with it. I'll link a thread with one of the issues in the description where they talk about it and resolved it a little bit in case that's something you guys are having. I forget what it's called, a Vivox or whatever kind of error. Um, I can't remember, but I'll we'll definitely grab that and link it up into the thing. But for the most part, doesn't really look like they've changed or done much. They should have done, like I said in the last video, just leave the game alone entirely. Just leave it be. But they just had to make sure they got that ad in there. They definitely had to make sure that they wanted to throw this in the face of everybody. And like I said, I kind of feel like it's in piss poor taste. I understand wanting to advertise the game. You could have done that on the Steam platform, like they've been doing. uh, but to actually stick it in the game because Ark Survival Ascended quite literally has nothing to do with Ark Survival Evolved other than the fact that it's a remaster. So technically, we shouldn't even be seeing it advertised in our face. I mean, but they advertised Atlas, which was dubbed Ark 2.0 when it first came out. No, they didn't advertise Atlas that I recall. Did you guys recall them advertising Atlas? I don't think so. So it's a completely separate game. And definitely in piss poor taste. And even when you go to the Twitter for Ark Survival Evolved, they basically transferred it over and turned it into the Ark Survival Ascended. So they've all but abandoned this game, and I just think it's just in bad taste towards Ark Survival Evolved players. Uh, that having been said, I'm not going to keep harping on that. I'm not going to keep repeating myself on that part. So moving on. Um, as some of y'all know, I have been having a failed to install mod map error that was going on with this game. So I am going to share this information on how I managed to get this fixed because GeForce Now team, they're brilliant asses, were not able to tell me how to fix it. I did Google all over the place, couldn't really find a solid fix. So it ultimately what it ended up being, it was not the disk space on the virtual machine being lowered. Ultimately what it ended up being, because when you run GeForce Now, essentially what happens is you have to install all your mods from scratch. Everything installs from scratch. It's a blank copy of the game, right? Well, I had a mod called on the server called Star Wars. I want to say it was called Star Wars: The Clone Wars Content Pack or something like that. So what ultimately happened, and I only stumbled across this because I was basically going to see if I could run the game in single player mode. The mod creator removed the mod off the Steam Workshop. So the great thing about ARK is that when a mod, and I'm not saying this is why this mod did it, I don't know what their reason behind it was. It didn't make sense for them to do it because it'd been up for years. But usually when a mod gets a bug up there, a mod creator gets a bug up their ass, and they want to remove their mod for whatever reason, it will automatically, and this is the thing I hate about Steam mods, is for a lot of games, if not the majority of them, most of them, it will remove the mod out of your game. Um, there are a few games where it does not. ARK happens to be one of those lucky few. So if a mod decides to be a butthole and remove their mod for whatever reason, you know, then you still have your mod. So, however, when it comes to GeForce Now, that causes a conflict, and that creates the fail to install mod map error because you no longer have access to that mod downloading it right off Workshop. So unless you actually have the game installed on your computer, where you have that mod, nice and secure, on your own hard drive, then you have no way of loading that mod because you can't install it from scratch anymore. Like I said, I don't know why the specific mod creator of that particular mod did what they did. I'm not gonna say they removed it to be a butthole, but it absolutely didn't make no sense for them to remove it. Considering the fact that they very well put in the description that they weren't updating it no more. They didn't have any of the original files or anything, and it basically was an as-is mod, whether it works for you or not. And if it was that they were getting annoyed by comments, they could have disabled that. There are a lot of mod pages where you can't comment at all. So, which would have been the realistic option to go with that. But so I don't know where their mind was when they decided to do that, or what prompted them after so many years of the mod being up to all of a sudden pull it off Workshop. Couldn't tell you, but ultimately that's what you have to do if you end up running into this particular error on GeForce Now. Is you want to go down your mod list compared to what the mod list is on the server, and make sure that a mod creator did not remove any specific mod from the list, because it'll still be on the server, and it'll still be on everybody else's client, who's not using GeForce Now. But if you are using GeForce Now, then it kind of puts you in a bad spot. And I basically wanted to shine a light on this because when I did a search about it, I literally did not find anybody mentioning that. Through all the threads I read with people discussing that, that was definitely not one of the things that was recommended or to check on. Was to go down your mod list and make sure that no mod creator took their shit off Workshop. So definitely go down and vet your mod list out. Make sure you know that the mod list for the server you're trying to log into and the mod list that you have on your list of subscriptions both match. And if it's a case where a mod got removed, then you're basically in a situation where you have to contact the owner of the server and make them aware that new players aren't going to be able to log in if they can't download the mod. So that's the situation with that, and it is what it is. So in a second here, take this out of the way. Now, moving on. This next part I'm going to go over is the blurry map fix that I've been having. If any of you have seen some of my earlier streams, you guys noticed I had that whole blurry texture thing. My textures, the game looked complete shit. The game looked complete shit. So I'm actually going to go over the settings on how to fix that. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that on GeForce Now, priority tier, and it may even work on the free tier. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pick high quality materials. Then you want to retick subsurface scattering. You want to have these two ticked. Now this is what I personally. So you bump textures on Epic. Light bloom I normally take off, especially with me streaming or whatever, because the light will look like they're shining a flashlight in your freaking eyes. And I will bump the mesh level of detail all the way up. You can pretty much do whatever you want as far as the textures and stuff. Everything else I kind of just leave the same myself personally. But you can basically go through everything you want to do. You kind of want to do before you do your restart. And the way you'll do your restart is you'll go down here to where it says Primitive Plus Official. You're going to click on that. It'll tell you it's changing game mode, requires a restart. If you want to continue, you're going to hit accept. You're going to let it do its thing. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. And this shit restarted slow today too. So you come back up. You're in primitive mode. Now the great thing about this is that if you forgot to do something on the setting, then you can always go back into the options before you do swap back to normal mode. You can always go back in here, do whatever, click whatever. Like for example, I forgot to do high quality LODs. That's another one I've been taking, so I forgot that one. Let me hit apply, and then click none. And that will take me back to the normal mode. You'll click none and go back to normal mode. Wait for it. Wait for it. Alright. So we're in normal mode. So you should be good to go to log in. And just for the purpose of the video, because I'm gonna save you guys some time or whatever on watching me load all the mods in. So I'm gonna log into my server, and I'm gonna pause the video right here. I'll be right back when I'm logged into the server. So I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so I'm back, and as you guys can see, the textures are a lot better. The blurry map issue is now solved. Let me pull that up there like that so you guys can see the map is now clean, clear, and crisp. Everything looks better. Dinos, textures, everything. Actually, let me go outside. I'll show you guys outside. Alright. So hopefully that doesn't look too bad. I know it's not really the greatest time of day. But as you can see, everything definitely looks a whole lot better. Especially if you've been watching my streams previously. You'll notice a massive difference compared to what the game was looking like. Yeah, see. So hopefully it's not too dark where you guys can't tell. But the most important thing is that map texture. Try to get over here where everybody's name ain't cutting into it. There we go. The water and everything looks better. So definitely an improvement. Unfortunately, that's the only way you can actually restart the game in GeForce Now because they don't have it set by default, so and you can't turn the game off without closing out the session. So which sucks because it would be nice to be able to disable the DLCs and take them off if you needed to. But unfortunately, there's no way of doing that either. So the game is definitely a fully installed game, whether you want it or not. But yeah. And speaking of Atlas earlier, ARK 2.0, it's a nice little pirate ship out there. Actually looks good from here. It's better with everything set up, especially in the distance or whatever in the water like that. But anyway, guys, I hope this helped you guys out. Like and subscribe to the channel. Take care, stay safe, have a good one, everybody.